morning, good morning, good morning. Time to get up and move your body. First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Hey. Going live and direct. All systems go.
You live at 85, boss.
Live at 85. All right. Check 1 2 1 2.
Check. Is this thing gone?
Like butter. Yeah. Good morning. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning. Paul B, Buddi3 Da Gawd, all of you chat timers, ghost listeners, radio listeners, thanks for joining us on this Monday, October the 9th, 2023.
Already.
Time be flying, man. I don't know.
Yeah, man.
Good morning to all. I see people jumping in the chat already. Tamika Johnson gives us some sunshine this morning. Good morning. Leah Keister says, happy, magnificent Monday to all. I'm glad that you're gracious enough not to give us the tongue twisters on Monday. I really appreciate that. Wait till Friday when we're all warmed up.
Yeah.
Pop says, good Monday morning, First Sky, and mad love from Las Vegas. Appreciate you, Pops. Mama God in the house. Good morning, First Sky fam. Hey, good morning to all. Thanks for getting up so early with us this morning. And joining on in with us. How was everybody's weekend? Let us know. I see Miss Erica Felt there too. Good morning. Good morning to you. What's going on, buddy? How you doing?
Yeah. Man, I'm all right. Feeling good. A little tired, but feeling good. Good.
How was your weekend?
Again, it was a little long, man. Still dealing with this truck, Hoopty Crew.
Man.
Yeah, still trying to get it right, man. Trying to get it right. But you ever been working on something and you get that feeling like I'm so far yet so close?
Yeah.
I've done a lot to the truck, a lot of improvements and things, but still having some troubles, man. So trying to figure it out, but gotta keep things moving. Gotta keep the family on the road. Got places to go, people to see, things to do.
That's right. How's the family doing? Everybody good?
Yeah, everybody's good. Baby's definitely enjoying Mama God. Big shout out tuning in right now. Man, been getting the full grandma experience. I definitely love that for the children. Making treats and riding bikes, and took the training wheels off little man's bike. He scraped his knee. We going through the motions, but it's life. It's life. Definitely, like you said, time is flying. Love seeing the babies get bigger. Yeah,
I hear that. Miss Erica Phil says, I was without a car this weekend, so I got a lot of paperwork done. Okay, well, what's going on with your cars? What's happening over there? Mayor Sanchez in the chat says, instead of cursing the vehicle, have you tried talking nice to it?
I don't know. Maybe I rolled some oil down.
Slide some oil to me.
Yeah. Tune me up.
That's what's up. I definitely have to. I talk nice to my mechanic. That's what I talk nice to. Hey, bruh.
Man,
what's going on this weekend?
Man,
type of thing. So, it's an interesting thing, man. When you got to deal with it. I've gone through several phases. I'm watching you go through one of the phases I went through, where it was like, I'm gonna have to just handle this myself.
Man.
And then it was like, am I gonna go down this road and open up a garage later, or what am I?
I did find myself on like a mechanic Instagram
Yeah,
yesterday, watch a bunch of people make cars
yeah.
and go karts or something. Like,
Take over your life, bro. Take over
man,
your life. And Mark Manor says, "Good morning from the bike lane." Speaking of which, yeah, I
hey,
was riding that bike a little bit more than the car. I think I'm gonna try to do myself this summer, next summer. Wanda Lewis gives us a good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Thanks for joining us.
top of the morning.
Yeah, it's interesting the phases we go through with cars, man. I'm definitely at the point now where I'll just have to make a payment. I can't deal with something being broke down. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. It'd be nice if you could.
If you can, that's right. But look, man, like I said, I went through the phases of realizing I was spending more on fixing it than I was on the payment.
Yeah, yeah. At some point, at a certain point, definitely that definitely becomes the case.
Yep, yep. Mama God says stepdad is a mechanic that helps. I was gonna ask you
Definitely.
if you had any mechanic friends that you bounce ideas off of and get some advice from and all that too.
Oh
You
yeah,
know,
oh yeah. I'm not just figuring this out by myself.
yeah,
Definitely big shout out to Step Pops.
that's what's up. That's what's up. Miss Erica Fell says Boogie drives one to work and the grown son has been driving the other. I don't like borrowing my own car. I need another one.
Nah.
Yeah, I'll be giving
Yeah,
it up. I'll be tissy. I'd have told them, yeah, you got to get your own cars around here. That's what's up.
man.
But yeah, it is what it is, man. All in the family. I remember my grandfather one time got a deal on some cars and bought pretty much the whole family car. All the four uncles, two
Okay.
the two uncles and the aunt and our family guy. We all got the same. It was the same car, but it's because he finally got some kind of deal on it or something like that. So I don't know what happened to them cars. I don't know how they if they lasted. Pops, what happened to the little yellow cars that Grandpa bought? Maybe you know something about it. But yeah, man. Von Chapman in the chat says, "Good morning, good morning." That's what's up.
Hey, peace,
Um,
brother.
Mr. Eric Fell says the grown son is working on it, but cars right now are ridiculously priced for real.
Hmm.
You got a point there. Even the used market is off the chain right now in a big way. But I heard they're gonna start coming down. I think the strikers are coming to some negotiations. They just negotiated some of the plants are going to be turned into battery plants since everything's going electric, and
I
so
was man.
they just won that part of where the batteries now will be made under the unions.
Hmm.
So hopefully the strikes will stop and car prices and stuff will come down a little bit, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. I was gonna ask how's everybody feeling about the whole EV revolution? Is anybody going electric right now? You got an electric car?
Man, I got a spot in California. I'm about to drive the Dragonfly down to and have him change it over to electric once I
Man,
get
I
going.
sent you a video on social media. It's a brother down here in Atlanta that's doing that.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that. That's what's up. That's what's up.
Man, any kind of modern car, old schools.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm getting
yeah.
it, I'm getting it done, bro. I'm getting it done. I'm tired of smelling gas and oil. I'm gonna
Okay.
stick with it. I,
And
I
I think that guy down here, he's also putting in a generator. They said in the video, putting in a generator so you won't even have to charge it.
right. That was the thing that struck me is all these people that are taking Tesla engines and putting them in other cars, and then of course you got the Teslas and all, and everybody got an electric
Hmm.
car out now, and but nobody's got something that you can generate your own energy for. Like
Right,
I was
right.
wondering when somebody gonna do that. So I'm very interested in researching that brother and see what he's doing over there in Atlanta with that. That's for real.
Man.
Prices are going to skyrocket on all this stuff though, in a big way. Just because it's new tech and people they got to is there's a cost for people trying to adopt stuff a company has to take on,
Hmm.
and so it's going to be really expensive to do all that stuff for a long time. I'm kind of nervous about it, but we'll see, man. It is what it is. California's trying to go all electric by a certain year. They don't want
Yeah,
people to
yeah.
have gas cars out there.
Like 2050 or something like that.
No, sooner than that. it's,
Hmm.
supposed, it's supposed to be like 2022 or something like that, that everything goes from gas to electric. So we'll see. I'm sure there'll be several elections and stuff like that in between there they'll turn that back around. But that's the goal right now from the powers that be in California. So we'll see.
Yeah.
Miss Erica Fell says if they weren't skyrocketed, I'd buy another. But if you come across a clean third generation Caprice, let me know. Oh, okay.
Okay. Okay.
Trying to get busy. Trying to get
Want the
busy.
box.
Pop says they were leased through his company, but then he sold it. Bye bye yellow cars. I think it was the dental lab. Oh, see, it's all making
Hmm.
sense to me. I was too young to know about this. So he leased cars through his company, which sounds like some stuff I've been looking into. And but then he sold the company, and that was the dental lab. I'm trying to tell you, man, you should look at my resume.
Mm.
My first 5 or 6 or 7 jobs was like Allen Family Land, Allen Family Dental, you know what I'm saying? Like
Man.
Allmac Builders, you know what I'm saying? There were so many. So I come from a entrepreneurial family in a big way, so it's really all this stuff is. I wish I was older back then to learn all this stuff a little bit more from them. You know what I'm saying?
Man, I actually just found out my grandmother who passed in Omaha, passed a millionaire. That's what Mama God was telling me. Had no idea my great grandmother passed a millionaire, but I look back at the house, I remember as a child, the house was huge. It was actually one of those grand houses down there on 16th,
Yeah, that's
those
crazy.
big houses. But yeah, it's very interesting. The more you learn about your family, how that kind of impacts you, like family legacy, knowing where you come from.
Man,
It's a
it's
beautiful
so
thing.
true. And especially if you can have you got a relationship with them too, and you can learn directly from them. I mean,
Yeah.
that's how they pass down information. You wonder how rich families do it with their kids. They certainly aren't sending them to school to get that education. They got to pass that down personally to them to be able to do what they got to do. And then they keep a lot of that information away from school so other people can't learn it. So
Mm.
interesting. Wanda Lewis in the chat says, "I don't think going all electric will ever happen. They have a hard time powering on a regular. I don't know. All the industry signals tell me that's what's happening. Is
Yeah.
especially economically, man. Like everything, all this money is going into EV for real.
I definitely do see it going in that way, but I have heard concerns about power grids being able to support all the charging stations. So there will have to be changes, but I think they'll figure it out because
Oh,
it's inevitable. It's gonna happen.
they'll most definitely figure it out for sure. They're definitely gonna figure that out, and I believe that they're gonna. I think they're gonna get to a point where they outlaw gas cars because it'll be only broke people that got them.
Hmm.
And then all of a sudden
Hmm.
it'll be illegal for you to drive around anything other than that. But you look at our people out in Atlanta already building the electric engines that charge themselves. So
Man. Yeah, you never know, man. Some kid in some alley somewhere might build a whole new kind of vehicle. You never know.
it's already happening, bro. It's already
Yep.
going down.
Yep.
It is once again we said it was Monday, October the 9th. Of course, you know that we'll be having the senators on, brother senators Terrell McKinney and Justin Wayne. I was supposed to lock it down with brother Kasim today, and I slipped my mind this weekend. So
Man.
yeah, I hope if I might try to text him and see if he can jump on because he got some stuff going on. He just released a book we're going to talk about and all that good stuff. I saw it this morning, got reminded about it. So we'll definitely check in with him at some point and then talk about the book that he got that they just launched, which I think was pretty dope. He's been out in the community taking pictures with people that got the book already this
Man.
weekend.
Is this the Willie Lynch letter book?
Willie Lynch letter book, yes,
Man.
yeah, we got to definitely talk about that. So now I'm kind of beating myself up for letting it slip my mind to solidify him coming through. But yeah, we'll definitely be talking about that. And if I can get a hold of him during the show, then we'll have him come on and talk about that a little bit. But yeah, it's a lot happening. Let us know what you got into this weekend too. I know AfroCon just passed as
Yeah.
well. Anybody get out to that? I'd love to hear from you about what happened over the weekend and all that good stuff. Couple other things we want to talk about, buddy. You want to jump into a couple of headlines there?
Yeah. Of course, still reeling from the violence that took place last week, and we'll definitely dive into this latest article from Omaha World Herald talking about some of the efforts in the community to respond to it. And I'm sure a lot of you will have thoughts on that. So we're looking forward to that conversation. Also, still looking at prison reform. Like I said, this is going to be a conversation that we're going to have more and more here on the show, especially ahead of election season and reforms coming down the pipe. But most recently, there was reported a death in Tecumseh State Prison, and trying to figure out what's going on again with yet another inmate losing his life.
Mm-mm-mm.
Also, OPS still wrapped up in this whole controversial hunt for a superintendent, and now they're announcing that they will have more opportunity for the public to voice their concerns. A lot of y'all have had questions about this whole search and what's going on. So this is definitely a perfect opportunity, especially those of you who weren't able to make last week's public meetings at local high schools. You can again do so again. So we'll talk about those dates and a little bit of what to expect at these forums. So I definitely talk about that, and then also came across this big shout out to again Heartland Ministries, or excuse me, yeah, Heart Ministries for doing the work, man. They are looking for people and will help people to buy land from the land bank. They actually have an event coming up. We'll be talking about a little later on. Of course, it's Monday, so not any haps or not an extensive haps today, but still a few things to look out for. So, yeah, definitely stay locked up. Also, not really on our headlines, but a lot of things going on internationally. I think we should at least mention throughout the show. A lot of about 72,000 migrants coming to Atlanta. Wars going on. Just a few mention. A lot of things going on. So again, if anything that we're not talking about that you want to, let your mind be free, let your voice be heard. Jump into the chat. But we're about a quarter hour into it. Let's go ahead and start the
All
show.
right. What up? What up? What up? Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio. First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the
I'll be the
morning.
dove, Buddi3 Da Gawd. All of you chat timers, ghost
Hey.
listeners, radio listeners, thanks for joining us on this Monday, October the 9th. Shout out to the 630 crew over there on the radio channel. Thanks for tuning in, letting me know how the mix was. And I'd love to hear more from you on that tip, on the radio tip. You can always go to firstskyOmaha.com, hit the listen button, and check that out. Or if you have Amazon Alexa, you can have Alexa play First Sky Omaha Radio. So with that said, we're going live, of course, on Facebook and YouTube. Share the show so that we can get as many people talking as we can. If you do us a favor and go ahead and share that show on your page, we really appreciate that. And, lots to talk about today. Of course, remembering this is Monday, we'll be talking to Brother Senators Terrell McKinney and Justin Wayne today. And I also have to apologize to Brother Kasim and Brother Sherman Wells. I was supposed to lock it in with them to come this morning as well, and I didn't get a chance to. So I'm going to try to get them to come on during the show here and see if we can do an impromptu jump in, because they got a lot to talk about it. And then, of course, the Beeee just released this book. They are
Man,
already in the neighborhood
the
distributing
streets.
in the streets, man,
Yeah, man.
making it happen. The Willie Lynch letter and the making of a slave, Willie Lynch. Love to hear from them about what was going on with this book and why they thought it was important to go ahead and put this out now. For those of you who already know about the Willie Lynch letter, then you probably already know what the importance is. But this is an important piece right here, and I'm really proud of Brother Kasim, the BAA, and everybody who's behind putting this together. So I can't
Man.
wait to get it and read it myself. But like I said, I'll try to go ahead and get Brother Kasim to come on. He really can only come on certain days. So I'll be trying to do that today and kind of circumvent my mistake here on locking him in. But we'll talk if we can, we will. If not, then of course we'll talk to him another day on it. But in the meantime, between time, lots of stuff to talk about here today. Let us know if you hit any of the things this weekend, if you hit any of the meetings, or if you got to go to AfroCon, or whatever's going on. Let us know. Let us know what's
Yeah.
happening with in your lives as well. Love to hear from you.
Going down in your
What's
world.
happening? What's going down?
Yeah. I know you're not a big sports guy, but it was kind of a special weekend in
Oh,
sports.
really?
One of the few, yeah, one of the October is one of the few months where all 5 professional sports are going on at one time.
Hey, that's great. All right. Any stories standing out? What's Deion Sanders doing? That's all I want to know about.
Man, he's winning. He won over the weekend. The team won. The team won. Of course they're struggling. He's striving for success, but yeah, it's a lot of controversy with that. A lot of controversy coming from several sides. Of course, people don't want to see him
Mm,
succeed. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Man. Yeah. Okay. Anything else stand out to you?
Um, Well, I'm also been watching the WNBA. I definitely like the direction that that's going. Of course, as far as equality, equity,
Okay.
standpoint, men's and women's professional sports has kind of always been on two different levels. But I'm definitely liking the direction that the WNBA is going. The finals are going on right now. Seeing, I remember days tuning in to WNBA games and it'd be like nobody in the stands, just like
Hmm.
obviously kids on field trips and like a couple family members. But now stadiums are filling up. I'm seeing more and more WNBA players with commercials and things like that. So, I'm loving it. I'm loving it. Seeing the sisters hoop.
I saw some clips, and they balling.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
They
yeah.
balling, man. I'm digging it too. That's what's up. I haven't, I don't get into the games or get into the teams or anything, but when I run across clips on the news and stuff like that, I'm like, okay, they slam dunking and stuff these days. That's what's up. It's
Yeah,
going
man.
down. It's going down.
Get down. Get
Okay, well,
down.
that's what's up. If you got any sports highlights, I guess we open the door for that. So come on in, let us know. Jumping into the chat real quick, they were still speaking a little bit about the car situation. Pop says in China they're working on cars that run on nitrogen. They have a few already built.
Mm.
That was a little thing going on here as well, but not as much as the electric situation is for here. Miss Erica Phil says one of my former play school children called me Saturday night to tell me that she met Mr. K at AfroCon. She was very excited. That's what's up. Mr. K is doing big things. I don't know if you guys know who Mr. K is, but yeah.
That's dope. Yeah, man. Shout out to my guy Karan, man. I went to school. Went to school
Did
with
you?
him. We have some mutual friends, or we hung out while I was in school. I'll say that we have some mutual friends. He lived not too far from my high school, and just seeing his growth, seeing his kind of his popularity. Now he got children excited to meet him and
The
stuff.
star.
It's a dope thing, man. If you haven't heard, Mr. K's Neighborhood, I think is the name of his
Yeah.
program. You know, doing programming for the kids, man, programming for the babies. I'm definitely all here for it, and big shout out to my guy Karan,
That's what's
man.
up, man. We'll talk about him a little bit more. There's the other stuff going on with him. He's kind of blowing up right now. So that's what's up. Appreciate that. I'm glad that he joined Jade over there with AfroCon. So that's what's up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gwen Easter gives us a good morning. Kimber Snipes says good morning, y'all. Miss
Hey,
Felder says she thinks the nitrogen idea is very scary. Yeah, we
I'm there with her. I'm there with her. I don't
and the
know.
Hindenburg blow up because
I'm saying,
I don't know. I don't know.
oh man,
Also, Wanda Lewis is reminding us it is National Indigenous Day. Yeah, so
yes,
appreciate you reminding us about that. We did talk about that this morning, and then kind of slipped our mind when we got on air. But yes, Indigenous Peoples Day is today as well. And shout out to all of our Indigenous brothers and sisters that check out the show and that we work with and all that good stuff. It is on October 9th every year, and it is what it is. So Indigenous Peoples Day. There's actually some. I pulled an article about Indigenous Peoples Day today because I was interested in the fact that this is also kind of a day of a protest a little bit. It's a day of
hmm
protest for Indigenous people too, as well. So it's not just a day of celebration, but some action items in there with that. So maybe we
yeah,
can jump into that as well at some point. And then also just want to talk about Miss Snipes. She's reminding me about Chris Baby Boy Bolin. He came
baby
and did
boy.
the content creators camp on Saturday and killed it. So that's what's up, man. He showed us about solutions journalism. He actually took the both classes in order to talk about it. So it was a
Mm.
good session. We learned a lot and had some really good discussion there, and appreciate everybody that came out to that one. Kimber came out. She says, I had lunch with Chris Baby Boy Bolin after a super amazing content creators camp. I learned a lot about solutions journalism. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. She says, I want to write something about One Omaha and submit it as an editorial or something, but set it up like a solutions, probably journal story.
Journey.
Yes.
Okay.
I like it. I like it. That's a great idea. That's what makes me think when I think about the stuff I learned about solutions. I'm always thinking about stuff I want to write under those tenets and stuff like that too. So got reminded about the tenets of it, and we spoke a lot about the limitations part of solutions journalism that we don't talk about too much. When you're presenting solutions journalism, you got to also present the limitations. You might find a solution, but it might not work for everybody in every neighborhood. So
hmm
you got to talk about that. So yeah, it was good reminders, good stuff. Yeah, we sorry we missed you too, Miss Easter. Next time we've got two classes left on the content creator class course.
Man.
So yeah, we'll work on exactly where and what we're going to do on that. I'm trying to push for a little kickback after the last class. So we'll work on that. I'll see if I can work it out with Marcy Yates over at Culture House, and maybe we can do it there. So that's what I'm looking forward to doing, and hopefully we'll be able to do that and kind of celebrate the fact that we did our first round of classes and all that good stuff. Might be fun. We'll see. Miss Erica Phelps says I met Deion Sanders outside the Fillmore Street after hours back in about '92 or so, right after he did baseball and football in the same week. He was the trip, but good people. We forget about that. Forget
Hmm.
about the fact that he was in the football league and the baseball league at the same time.
Man, man, him and Bo
Bo
Jackson.
Jackson. I think also I think Michael Jordan tried a stint of that as well. He was out there.
Yeah,
He tried to
he tried. He
he
tried.
couldn't get
He
with the
tried.
baseball too good.
Yeah, yeah. I think he had some success. They said he was getting better in the minor leagues, but it wasn't on Dion and Bo's level. Like they were killing it. Like they were actually killing it.
Yeah, absolutely. Miss Erica Phelps says someone suggested I asked y'all to have Mr. K on the show. He's holding a trunk or treat that the place schoolhouse will be at giving candy this Saturday. Yeah, that was one of
Okay.
my haps. I don't know what I did with that, but that was one of my haps, the trunk or treat situation. Yeah. Oh, here it is. Yep. I knew I put it in there somewhere. Yeah, yeah, that'd be cool. I'd love to have brother on. He's done some stuff at Benson Theater too, and I got to meet him. Cool dude. And is running a good show and steady moving on it too. Not just like staying stagnant, but like things are getting bigger and better for him. Very professional cat and doing some good work. And First Guy Omaha loves the kids. So
Man.
we'll definitely see if we can get Mr. K on, talk about how I always wondered about like why anybody would go into kid programming that way myself. Although all you got to say to me is like Sesame Street. I'm like, oh yeah, okay, that's why. Okay, yeah, that's cool. So uh,
I mean, Reading Rainbow is like one of your favorite. You always talk about
it's
Reading
true. It's
Rainbow.
true. Reading Rainbow. Yeah, I guess there's a few of them that I can see getting into, but it's more of the character situation that I'm talking about. I grew up in Sesame Street where the adults acted like adults, and
Yeah,
a lot of the
yeah.
programming is adults acting like kids or relating to kids. I'm sure that you relate to kids better by kind of going on their level, but I always wondered what that was like. Wonder why they made that choice or what that was about. You know what I'm saying? So now we
Hmm.
got somebody firsthand we can really ask about it. He's making a big impact on the kids around though. I'll give him that. That's for real. That's for real. And like I say, he's doing good work, man. Anything to me that you can really kind of help direct kids into a good situation through your influence. I mean, that's a very powerful, important situation to be in, for real. So I love it. Miss Erica Festa, because children are important. Of course, they're important. Of course. She says, Kimber Snipes says that was oh,
Camera. Get some
ain't the first
coffee.
time you did that.
Yeah, you better be careful.
Pops was talking about that. We were saying the Hindenburg. He said no, that was hydrogen. They are all affected by some kind of gas. It's just how well they can control it. That's true. I mean, uh, cars run on liquid gas right now. They can blow up too.
Yeah, yeah. Gasoline.
That's funny, man. Wanda Lewis said, "Can't imagine all electric airplane." I did read an article
Nah,
about one. They got they
really.
got all electric airplane happening. Yep, sure do.
I'm a little skeptical.
I mean, you already kind of skeptical about airplanes in general, but yeah,
Yeah,
so I don't know any kind of change that would happen with an airplane. Yeah, I don't know if they got the regular ones down yet. So yeah, anyway, things not you can't worry about everything all the time.
no, no, no. You can't.
It is. It
Can't.
is. Moving along. It's 7:38 right. No, wait, 7:29 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, and of course we have the brother senators coming on a little bit later on. So let's go ahead and jump into some stories now, so we can knock some things out before they get here. And thanks for everybody
Yeah,
that's joining into the chat this morning. The banter this morning has been great. Love it.
yeah. Yeah, as always, man, we appreciate y'all. We love y'all. We thank y'all. And of course, if there's anything happening in y'all world or anything that has come across y'all radars that you'd like to talk about or like to share, feel free to do so. But kind of while we're talking about the solutions journalism a little bit, again, big shout out to everybody that came through over the weekend to our content creators camp. class with Chris Baby Boy Bolin. Again, talking about solutions journalism, and really, when you think about it, I guess this latest article from Omaha World Herald is sort of just that, a solutions journalism article. But I would definitely love to hear what you all think about the solution. A headline reads: Community police respond to recent spate of shootings in Omaha. Of course, we've been talking about that specifically the events surrounding the Swift family. Definitely sending prayers and light to them. Hopefully, everything, I guess, gets easier. Definitely dealing with this isn't an easy situation, but hopefully they find the strength to keep moving forward. But the community in general is definitely looking for questions, or definitely looking for answers to the questions as far as what's going on, what's driving a seemingly recent spike in violence, and how do we solve it. Omaha community organizations, namely the Empowerment Network, Omaha 360, U-Turn, and the North Omaha Community Partnership, are all named in this article as organizations addressing the violence in the community. Of course, among the recent crimes, the mass shooting, as they're calling it, which really didn't get to talk about that language, Paul. So definitely love to hear your thoughts on that. But again, a mass shooting at a birthday party that took place on October 1st, which led to the death of Burke High Jr. Lamarante Swift, and then also injured five other people that same night. Also, there's a drive-by shooting that led to the death of Lamarante's cousins, Dontasia Swift, on Wednesday. The two young people, again, were cousins. Police have not determined whether the shootings were connected, but again, a lot of concern around the Swift family. I think somebody in the chat last episode actually mentioned that there was efforts being put towards relocating the family, as again it is uncertain whether or not these incidents are connected. Again, Willie Barney, president of the Empowerment Network, is quoted in this article saying, "First, our hearts goes out to the families, friends, everybody impacted. It's been a very, very difficult, challenging last week. There's a lot of groups, agencies, organizations, and ministries mobilized and trying to support the families, and definitely trying to prevent additional incidents from occurring." Personally, what I thought was interesting from this article was the breakdown of how exactly the U-Turn and Empowerment Network, that network, how it works. Again, how it mobilizes. This includes, again, school and street and school outreach workers from the Omaha nonprofit U-Turn, who apparently mobilize into those areas, both the streets and the schools, to identify, intervene, and talk to families and individuals who might be susceptible to violence or prevention of a retaliation of violence. And U-Turn and the Empowerment Network led Omaha 360, again, are a part of a structure, according to this article, that has built up in recent years to reduce exactly that, gun crime. Apparently U-Turn has trained staff, or quote unquote credible messengers, that they train mediators who themselves have been victims or involved in violence. And apparently they either directly work with these people, or do what they call a soft handoff, quote unquote, with other agencies. U-Turn has teams that canvass in neighborhoods and schools, and it targets areas of North Omaha, talking with neighbors and connecting with young people and their parents. Again, that's according to this article. In addition to U-Turn's very important work, multiple other organizations and individuals are involved. Again, like I mentioned, Ms. Tamika Meese and the North Omaha Community Partnership, who holds the frequent state of North Omaha meetings at North Omaha, or North High School. And apparently, this is the organization that is working with the Swift family to possibly relocate them. So again, doing the work, boots to the roots. Is this what it looks like? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'd love to hear from you, from the community about this. And are you associate or aware of these organizations? Heard anything about them before? I know we've talked a little bit about a couple of them, like Buddy just said. But who all is I think the spirit in which the Chad Chimers drop these articles in Friends for Sky is that these organizations aren't really doing what they should be doing, or not doing enough, or something like that. And we keep on going back to that idea because we're trying to say what's the how do you quantify this? How do you, you know what I'm saying? How what would happen if the organizations weren't here to help, or people weren't doing things, would things be worse? And can we expect 100% no issues, no problems, no shootings, no anything in Omaha, based on based on can we expect that from any organization? is also a
Hmm.
question,
Singular.
right? So, so yeah, it's um, you know, I'd like to know more about what you guys think on this. Just a quick word about that mass shooting situation. We talked about that a little earlier, and then Miss Erica Phelps says mass shooting is 7 victims or more. It did qualify. My question is about the language in the first place because the languages, different languages are used in different contexts. News articles have their own kind of definition of what a mass shooting is, and they've been pushing that. This was interesting to me because I actually read the police report, and the police report called it a mass shooting as well. And I believe there was 5 people injured, 1 person killed in that shooting, so it was 6. But the point, but it was also, they when the press talks about mass shootings, they talk about random. There's a random element in the mass shooting definition when the press talks about it that doesn't seem to apply sometimes when it comes to gang violence. For instance, I've heard some people talk about mass shootings that happen with gangs, with rival gangs, but obviously, if there's gang battles going on, then it's not really random. So to me, it's an interesting thing to figure out because when I went, I was always thinking that this was a press related term until I read that police report and realized they were calling it a mass shooting as well. So now we get into what definitions are, and this is what Miss Erica Feld is saying. Where did you get the definition that it's 7 victims or more? Defined by who? And I'm asking because this dictates how the police are going to work. The titles are important too because if they call it something, that means they're going to deal with it a certain way. And certain, so how is it they're going to deal with something they call a mass shooting, as opposed to something that they're calling a personal, a personal beef or something like that, or just a homicide or something. So it's interesting just to kind of go over the terms and figure out what's what. I mean, I know that's not the important point here, but as long as we're talking about certain groups that are talking about this and the police that are talking about this, and because we're talking, that's the articles about people speaking out and speaking up and trying to find solutions here. Well, first of all, how are you
Mhm.
defining what the problem is? What's the definition here for that? Because that's going to determine the way that it gets handled. Jumping into the chat again, real quick. McKinney Snipe says, I was invited to a private convo last week with U Turn in NOCP 360, the police, and others about these shootings. It's a lot going on behind the scenes. So we kind of got wind of that too. There's a lot of discussions that are happening around, and I don't know if they're even connected, but it would be interesting to figure out what the conversations are. Who this is how we got certain groups coming up with certain solutions and police coming up with other ones, and so on and so forth. And we all know that, especially in North Omaha, when it comes to black organizations, there's not a whole lot of solidarity here. Did anybody call the BAA? Did anybody call? You know what I'm saying? Like in these
Mhm.
discussions about what's going on here, are they talking to the people that are actually talking to the kids? Are they talking to people that aren't so much involved, or are they talking to organizations that are mentoring young people? What do they think about it? What are the definitions? These are all questions I have for this. Wanda Lewis says there's a young man missing by the last name Devers. There's also a Devers being charged as a getaway driver in one of the Swift homicides. Not sure if these incidents are related. That's
Mm.
really interesting. Yeah. Um, man. Um, yeah, I pulled that article today about the young Devers being missing. His name is Arion Devers. This is him right here. They've been putting this alert out. Age 15, 5'9", 130. Last seen wearing a black zip-up hoodie with some blue Adidas pants. 10-3. So the 3rd of October at Northwest High. And they said a missing persons report has been filed with the OPD for Arion Devers. So, and you can call the information if you have any information about his whereabouts, 402-707-1195. So we'll keep putting this up and flashing this up. Thank you, Ms. Lewis, for that information. I didn't realize that I didn't put those two and two together. I wonder if there's anything to put together there.
Mm.
So man, yeah, lots to talk about this. Kimmer Snipes says solutions to getting back to nurturing families, not just kids. Everybody got a program for kids. What about the families? We talk about this all the time too.
Yeah, man.
Families need the support. She says because the kids I work with at the library, their families needed help. Families
Yeah.
can get help. The kids automatically get help.
Right, right. Yeah, usually that's a lot of what the children are dealing with is unstable house situations that they're trying to, they're the emotions are showing themselves in different ways, whether it be anger or mischief or rebelliousness. Yeah, a lot of it stems from just home.
Yep, for sure. Miss Erica Fell says Miss Tamika performs blessings with close to no funds. She needs donations. Okay, so let's dig into her organization. You already co-signed on who she is and what she's been doing for the community, and so there you go. There's another person
Yeah,
and organization that can get support. Boost to the
we've
roof,
had
guy.
her on the show a couple times.
Yeah, yeah, doing good work in the community for real. I mean
Yeah,
that's no joke. That's no joke. When we talk about BAA and stuff like that, we ought to be talking about her too,
yeah.
and the organization she's about. So
And I
that
mean, there is a connection. There is a connection. We kind of talk about how you're asking like, is there a connection? Is there a teamwork as far as the organizations? And I do know that Sherman and the BAA are closely related and work closely with Tamika, Sister Tamika. Actually, I think the Sister Tamika was helping with the Bryant Center activities that they were doing. So,
mhm.
and she's also connected to the Empowerment Network. So, there are connections. I do kind of that was one thing I did pull from this article as well. It's just getting more insight. We talk about the Empowerment Network. We talk about Omaha 360. But this kind of made me see how the network is actually working in real time.
Mhm. Yeah.
As far as the Empowerment Network itself doesn't seem to do a lot of direct work. More so just passing resources along.
Yeah. Hear that. Um, Also, Kimber Snipe says 3 of my kids been arrested for homicide since 2020 that I was working with. Their families were off the chain too. Family needs support.
Oh yeah.
She also says one of the Swifts also works for U-Turn.
Yep.
Okay, so wow. Also, I talked with him last week. Who's the him? I missed that.
The Swift that works for U-Turn.
Oh, got it. He said in addition to donations, just people going over and sit with the family, listen to them. Man,
Man.
T. Wren got an interesting point. Drive by is fading out in media language. Again, I was just paying attention to media language because it's front facing, but
Hmm.
what's police language? What are they labeling things and what does that mean for how they're going to respond? Uh,
Man.
Kimber says, mhm.
Well, actually, to that point, the Omaha police are quoted in this article. It's saying that they're reallocating resources to put extra patrols on the streets of course, North Omaha, including overtime for officers. Lieutenant Neil Benassi, who's again a spokesperson for Omaha Police, says some other investigators, excuse me, are also hitting the streets, not trying to necessarily saturate any areas specifically, but working on these hot spots, quote unquote, where we are seeing these upticks in violent crime. So, hot spots, upticks in violent crime, cop language.
So right, and here's the thing about that, man. We all know, and this is kind of a thing. Like it's obvious that police don't really do much to prevent the crime.
Mm-hmm.
They come through after the crime has already been committed, and so it's if the response is always let's put more cops on the street, it doesn't feel too much like it's specific. When we talk about these issues, we're talking about the Swift family and
Man, which
and how the family has to relocate right now and so on and so forth, right?
yeah, I wanted to say because you not being from Omaha, like the Swift family is definitely a popular, known family within the North Omaha community. It's a huge family,
Yeah.
huge family.
But I'm saying we without me knowing who they are or not, the way we're talking about, the way us in our community are talking about it. We're talking about them as a family
Yeah.
and stuff that's happening, stuff that's going through that doesn't match to me. The police saying, well, we're going to
Mm.
deploy more police officers in North Omaha to stop all this. Like that means that you ain't even acknowledging the story here at all,
The family.
which is the family, which is which is something that's obviously going on here with the that's what I'm saying about response. If the police are trying to act like the first shooting was a mass shooting, which T Ren in the chat said something about, he said by FBI definition, mass shooting is considered four or more. So we can already got two different definitions in the chat about what mass
Mm-hmm.
shooting is. But my point is, does mass shooting mean what does that mean for how the police move? And so think about a mass shooting in Colorado. What's the police response there when somebody in Colorado walks into a store and just starts shooting random people? More cops in the area. What you know what I'm saying? Like there's some disconnect there that's going on. I'm working it out as I'm talking because I'm trying to figure out how I'm feeling. And what I'm feeling like is when we talk about the Swift family, we're talking about the family. We're
Mm-hmm.
talking about something that's happening to some people in our community. We're talking, and when we, I'm sure that we can talk to other people in our community like Tamika, Meese, Miss Meese, for instance, or anybody else who's involved here. Kimmer says they were the groups that she was in. She was in some groups that people were talking. She said Leo and Chrome were there. So if we ask these people what's going on and how things need to be fixed and what can happen, I'm sure that everybody is talking a little bit more about stuff like the family relocating. You know what I'm saying? Are these things
Mhm.
connected? All the the story that's going on here, which it doesn't feel like maybe the police department would act would. They're not sitting around talking about it like that. They're talking about how many more police they can put on the street in North Omaha to stop some of this. Are they looking at it like random? Are they looking at it like random violence?
Um, I don't know. I mean, there is an ongoing investigation, so I don't know how much of that they're going to speak on.
Yeah,
Um, but I do get kind of, I guess, the sense that you're as far as just do they approach it from a crime standpoint or from a human
I'm
standpoint?
trying to, and I'm asking how. I'm just becoming aware of definitions that are out there. And after I read the police report, they called the first shooting a mass shooting. It got my wheels turning about what when they call it a thing, how do they respond? And I'm trying to
Mhm.
find out how. I want to know how. And there apparently there's been a lot of meetings and stuff like that all over the place. And who they're talking about. They're talking about it. So we'll see. We'll see. Chat's going off. I'm not going to jump into it quite just yet because we got our special guest hanging out in the wings. We can go ahead and bring him in, ladies and gentlemen. Senator Justin Wayne in the house. Good morning to you, bro. How you doing? Your
Oh,
your mic is down. Your mic is down.
My bad. I had it
oh,
on
there you
mute.
go. There you go.
I said, I'm outside the house, so we just gonna go ahead and skip the Cox Cable thing this morning.
All right, sounds good.
Okay, okay.
I see you in the Halloween spirit over there. You got your
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, a little bit. He keeps me company.
okay. All right,
So
got your back. He got your back. That's sweet.
no, I was
Hey,
listening to the show, man. It's a good conversation about the definition of a mass shooting and why they start now calling it a mass shooting.
interesting.
Yeah.
I'll go ahead and bring our brother Terrell McKinney is in the house too. Senator McKinney is in the house as well. Good morning to you, my brother.
Good morning. How y'all
How you
doing?
Peace,
doing?
peace.
I'm good.
All
Good,
right.
good.
All right.
Uh,
Um,
Go ahead.
yeah, I just wanted to throw in there. I don't know if you were able to catch the kind of beginning conversation of where we are, Senator McKinney. But yeah, that is a thought as far as the recent violence and the term mass shooting. You don't really hear that used a lot when they're talking about something that seems to be gang violence. I'm not gonna put that on it, but this isn't a typical situation that you hear the term mass shooting used in. Like you're saying, it's usually some event at a store or concert or movie theater, something like that.
Or some random shooting or something.
Right, right,
It
right.
just got me wondering about police action based on whatever the definition is. You know what I'm saying? So if they define something as a mass shooting, does that mean they move different? Do they put different things out there or different tactics out there? Just not sure.
Mhm. Just
I
let me
mean,
toss it to you, senators. Just
it,
as
it,
yeah, yeah.
no,
Just as people who are putting together bills, what are your thoughts?
I don't know. It's interesting that they define it as that because even if they defined it as I haven't seen a response of a typical mass shooting. That I mean, if you're gonna call some a
Mhm.
mass, like where's the energy? Where's the resources to address a mass shooting? I haven't seen that. So just saying a shooting is a mass shooting really doesn't do anything. It's for our community because the response isn't that of which you would see for a normal mass shooting.
Hmm.
Interesting.
So I know definition wise, when you Google it, like they'll say like United States has over like 300 mass shootings, and they've defined that as two or more people being um, hit, I guess, by a bullet. but we've never locally really defined it like that. So when that was the first thing I thought when I started hearing mass shooting. I was like, that's an odd way of putting it.
Yeah, it was a shooting at a party, and somebody passed away, and then some other folks got hurt at a specific party where most people probably knew each other. There was just something about that definition. When we think of mass shootings in the media, we think of random shootings in public places and so on and so forth. So just got me kind of wheels turned about the definition of that. I don't want to get stuck on it too much because of course this is about the families, and this is about the families ultimately, and what the families are going through and what we can do to support the families at this time and all that. But just can we do have to kind of mention a little bit. What does this mean for more police in North Omaha, like and how they respond when things like this happen? What's their response? This all stemmed from an article that we were reading about the police in the community speaking out against this, and we got people in the chat saying that they went to several meetings, things going on behind the scenes, and all these things that they're addressing about what should be done and so on and so forth. So I think that's the deal. Have you guys been involved in any of these? Did they contact y'all about any of these meetings and things that are happening about this stuff?
I didn't get contacted about a meeting. I talked to Tamika a couple days ago, and I don't know. I guess the biggest thing, I think they just need money for the funerals. It's a family affected with 2 deaths in a short period of time, and they don't necessarily have the resources. That's what we talked about. And usually when a mass shooting happens, it's all these resources to bury people, and that's not the case. So that's why I'm kind of not understanding how they're defining is that, and the community response isn't that of a mass shooting.
Interesting.
I'm actually kind of thinking of Senator Wayne, your PTSD bill. Like when a family goes through something like this, what resources are out there for them in time like this?
So there are some resources out there as it relates to just community organizations, everything from Salvation Army to Lutheran Family Services, just the typical ones you hear about and deal with when it comes to any type of stress, trauma, juvenile issues, young folk issues. And then at schools, like one of the kids went to Burke, they'll have counselors available for those kids today who maybe want to talk, or last week they were available too. So they'll have counselors available to start opening up them conversations. But this is exactly why, I mean, I don't want to put politics into somebody dying, but at the end of the day, our community needs a different model when it comes to PTSD, when it comes to trauma, when it comes to resources. And so the whole purpose behind the PTSD bill was to basically train the trainers, so we can create folks like us. We can go get trained on some initial skill sets to make sure that when we're interacting with people, we can help them navigate the system. And if they need deeper therapy, psychiatric treatment, or something like that, we can help push them or pull them into the right resources. Because right now, just like the question you asked, and it's billboards of organizations, but we need, quite honestly, we need Black males who get some specialties into this area, so we can understand and figure out some pathways for these kids, because it's generational.
Mm-hmm.
If you think of the last name of the person who passed, I remember, I think 6 years ago, 7 years ago, another same last name got off a bus stop coming home from Burke, and was killed with the same last name. So clearly that family has some trauma, and the friends and families also have trauma, and then it just becomes this unfortunate cycle that we have to figure out. We have to do a better job, and this is where I think Senator McKinney and I get a little frustrated, because when we push these bills, people don't show up, people don't come by and support. But when there's 3 months of no homicides, every news channel is organizations on here saying they're the reason why there's no homicides. And now when there's a mass shooting, those organizations disappear.
Man.
So I just said a whole lot there, so I'm done for the day. Y'all have a good day.
You went all around the whole scene with it. That's what's up. Somebody in the chat did mention that too, that there was somebody from the same family that was killed a few years back too. And somebody else is suggesting in the chat that this is like, that people know this is a family, some kind of family beef thing going on. Again, how does the police approach any of that? Because I really feel like they're there. The police is there to kind of come after the crime has been committed, then they kind of come through and try to do something about it. But how do they, how do you really prevent things if you're really not entrenched in the neighborhood that way in the first place? Even on this show, where we don't know a whole lot of the members of the families and stuff like that, are still talking about this in that vein of this is about the families. This is about what's going on in our neighborhoods with individuals and families here.
But it's not even just that family. Like when you look at if people actually get to the root of like gang, if you want to call it gang violence, it's actually family on family violence. A lot of the people in the gangs are from certain families, and they don't get along because of the family structures, and a lot of the back and forth is between families. Honestly, like if you really dig into the root of all the violence, it's not just gang violence as like people traditionally think it is. It's families disagreeing with each other for a long period of time. And until we get a lot of these individuals and these families out of poverty, address the PTSD and all that type of stuff, I don't know what we're doing. Like that's the number one reason for like 531. It's like to change the community, because the reality is it's going to be more people that die. It's going to be more people that need help. And until we start addressing those issues, we're going to be back on here saying we sad. And the next week we ain't going to talk about it. And we got to address those root issues, honestly.
Yeah.
Mm.
And if you here's, I mean, so in my 1 day book that I'm gonna write about Lincoln, the 4 years ago, yeah, I think 4 years ago, we sat in a room with the power structures down in Lincoln, and we were having some drinks talking, and one of them said, "Justin, what do we do about the violence in Omaha?" And I framed it in this way: we can get on one of them bikes where we all have a drink. You ride the bike and there's 10 of us, and we all drinking and riding a bike. I said we can literally ride through the area within 10 minutes. Like you can go down 30. If we can come back on 24th. It might take us 20, 25 minutes to just ride a bike and have some drinks as we riding this bike. That's how from a geographic perspective, how small the area that we're talking about, where a lot of the violence occurs in North Omaha. If we want to push it, it could take us 10 minutes if we was riding by ourselves. But at the end of the day, we're not talking Chicago, LA, Atlanta, where you got to drive another 45 minutes to get to another area of poverty and problems. It's literally right there.
Mm.
And then I said, if we could get to 10 families, and I'm not going to name families on public, but if we can get to 10 families, and in this room there was 2 judges, 3 prosecutors, and a whole bunch of political people. And I looked at the prosecutors and I said, 10 families, we could probably solve 80% of our violence in Omaha. And everybody in that room agreed. That's how entrenched this, I think, PTSD is in our community, is that these families and friends, uh, it's a way of life. And we got to figure out how to break that cycle.
Yep. Yep. I have to agree. A few people in the chat are also kind of along that field. I've seen a few people mention the word retaliation and things like that. I mean, we all, let's just talk candidly. We all know what it is. Is people not trusting the system, not being, not being trustworthy, that the system, being the political system, the criminal justice system, is going to treat these situations with any kind of real fervor, especially, knowing the skin color of the people. Let's just call it what it is. There's not a lot of trust in the system, and a lot of families, when they have those types of situations, they rather take it in their own hands because they don't think that the police are going to arrest, and really push the investigation.
Yeah.
Too many cold cases.
Jumping in the chat real quick, Kimber Snipe says, this is another good point. She says the police aren't going to say everything because it is ongoing. There's an ongoing investigation about this stuff's happening. Leo acknowledges that the chief, Leo acknowledged the chief for approaching it as as a human standpoint. So I guess in one of these meetings, it did come out in the way that they're treating this on some kind of standpoint. It'd be good to hear. Maybe we can talk to the chief or talk to
It's hard for me to I don't like not. I'm always critical of police, and the reason why is why do they go to the mayor and city council and ask for a raise every year when that money should be going to stuff like this? Like the police want more money from the budget so they could hire more officers. When the reality is, we need more resources for people like these community organizations to address these issues. But they keep going to the mayor and asking for more money. So do they really care? Because the resources are imbalanced and not working for our community, and they say they care about our community. And
Yeah.
I can't give them props for any of it.
In that article we were just mentioning here, they said that they were going to put more police out on the street now. That was one of their solutions, right?
But
More
we
overtime.
a family needing help with a funeral.
Right.
Mm.
They getting more overtime, right?
Yeah.
Kimmer, if you don't mind, if you have that link to the if they got some kind of fund going on to help them with the funerals, then please give that to us so we can put that in the chat and get some boost to the roots on that. Also, she said, also Miss Erica Felt has a good point too. She says because of the history, I don't believe the family with that name will be allowed to be respected as victims by the police.
That's kind of what I was mentioning.
Yeah. So
From what I heard, they treated them as in a response to the young lady's situation. They treated them as the whole family as criminals. That whole situation was bad.
Yeah, that's messed up.
Yeah. And later on, Miss Erica Feld also says, I think it's important for them to check their bias and not make assumptions based on the family name and therefore treat them not the same as other victims. So, yeah. Yeah. And you know, really, when you to kind of the Senator McKinney's point, when you think about the police, like it is kind of anti to think that they're going to really put some real intention and effort towards alleviating all crime. Because if there's no crime, then the argument can be made that we don't need as many police officers.
I don't know, but I do know that they're not the police department is not built to go into the community and handle community issues and handle dealing with families and so on and so forth. That's just not what their function is in the first place. So I agree about resources being allocated to organizations that is their function. That would absolutely be better, is than saying, well, what are the police going to do about it? Well, we'll put more police on the street in North Omaha to and keep our eye on the families as if they're all criminals. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not the way to go. If you guys if there's anything else we need to add on that, I kind of, you know me, I want us to get to other subjects
Yeah,
and
no need to belabor.
I can drone on this all day long, really. But any final thoughts on this subject here? Anything that I mean, of course, I want to end on. Hopefully, we got some action items here, and we can help them pay for the funerals. And anything else that of course, we can extend our hand to do and help or talk about or whatever. What do you guys think about it?
I mean, right now, I just tell people, you know who's involved, and if you know them, go reach out to them and make sure they're okay.
Yeah.
I remember some of the kids I mentored, they didn't have the option of leaving my house. It's like y'all here for the weekend. Y'all ain't got the option. I know how it works, and so y'all gonna be downstairs, or I can keep eyes on y'all until we start talking about some of these emotions you got going through you.
Yeah. Kimber said that she spoke to somebody in the family, and the family was like, not just help with the funerals, but just come sit with the fam too, if you know us. Wanda Lewis in the chat real quick says, no spokesperson or candlelight vigils or anything coming from the organizations that are supposed to be in place. They want to keep their status as role model for other cities. So out of sight, out of mind. Interesting. Von Chapman is also saying there's a lot of funding going to certain groups without any checks and balances to determine the effectiveness of their mission. We need actual receipts to determine if funding is being effectively applied to the targeted community. Empty rhetoric is not enough. We always talk about the different organizations that people are feeling like are trying to take credit for stopping some of the violence and stuff in the streets. Is that really happening? My question is always, what would things be like if those organizations weren't there? How do you quantify an organization being able to help? Do you expect an organization to eliminate 100% of all violence in the city? these are we can get mad at some of these organizations because we were upset about what's going on in the neighborhoods, but let's take a closer look at the organizations if they can help, because really, we can't really depend on the police department to help on certain things. It is going to have to be these organizations. So I can understand why there's fervor behind whether or not these organizations are doing the right thing, and so on and so forth. So all we're here to do is try to shout out some of the organizations that are, and call out the ones that aren't, and then of course when us four are talking, we're talking on another level too about politics, about the legislation, about laws that are being passed, about what's going to happen with money that comes out, where it's going, and what is going to help. Ultimately, we're just trying to raise up the economic development of our neighborhood so that some of these things can be eliminated, because that's all where it really comes from. So moving along. I hope. Oh, we lost brother. Here he is. He's back. So moving along. Let me shuffle the deck here real quick. All right. Here we go. So what else is on top of mind right now that you guys are about right now? What's happening with you guys?
Uh, I mean, I think there was the prison situation is a top of the mind issue. I mean, somebody died in Tecumseh.
Yep.
Um, it's just, I don't know, man. It's a battle that we got to keep fighting to try to get it addressed as best as possible. Tecumseh is still on a 4-3 schedule, still overcrowded, still understaffed. Um, so it's no surprise something happens there. We can't fully implement, any type of policy change in the state. It's just, I don't know. Like, I mean, it's interesting. I see comments, but people really don't understand what goes on, and you know, it's I don't know, man. It's
Well, let me
like
set it up this way. We've been kind of talking about, now that you brought up, the prison situation. We've been talking about the latest moves from the state's attorney general, and some reform bills are now under attack. Wayne,
Man,
Senator Wayne, yeah, your name is coming up, and a
all
few
my
bills
all
that
my
you.
bills are under attack.
Yeah. And my whole question is, all these bills seem to be aimed towards, alleviating the very problems that Senator McKinney was just mentioning: overcrowding, understaffing. What are your thoughts? Why? What is this? What are your thoughts about the latest move from the Attorney General?
Man, I'm trying to keep positive spirits. It's just interesting. So 2 years ago, or 3 years ago, I passed a bill for deferred judgments. Now, like I think 41 other states have deferred judgments. Might even be higher now. And so basically, right now we got drug court, we got drug court, veterans court. We got a whole bunch of different courts that allow for basically you not to go to prison and to get your sentence or your charge reduced significantly or dropped. And so I wrote a bill for a deferred judgment that's essentially the same thing, that for people who don't maybe have a drug problem but maybe made a mistake, right? So you make a mistake and you get the same benefit without necessarily going into having a drug addiction or a mental health issue. Maybe just you fell on some bad times. Well, I found out last week he's challenging that, saying that that's unconstitutional, which could upset our entire problem-solving court if they rule that way. That would be very interesting because we got a lot of problem-solving courts that across the state, and it came out of Madison County, which I'm not surprised. Madison County is, and the judges up there are very interesting. Um, and then he attacked. Now he's attacking LB 50, which was a criminal justice reform bill. And basically, the two sections he's attacking is retroactivity, saying for parole eligibility. Doesn't mean you get out. People are eligible for parole. And then Terrell added to the bill geriatric parole. So if you over 65 or 75 and don't have a violent history, you should be eligible for parole. Like, I mean, it costs the state a lot of money for them being on the states dying for health and all those issues that come up
Mm,
with older age. So both of those are being challenged. So I don't know. It's just an interesting time.
man, and if I'm not mistaken, is it fair to say that the spirit behind some of those bills, as somebody in the chat asking about Brother Ernest Jackson, or were those kind of in the spirit of Ernest Jackson, Ed Poindexter, trying to help those gentlemen?
We had a specific bill on Ernest, and I just tell you that like that every year that has been the stiffest opposition that I've ever seen.
Really?
Uh, yeah, so I could get it passed in the legislature. I just can't get it signed by the governor. So every year that's been the obstacle, and so to get it passed, it puts me in a weird situation because if I get it passed and I don't have the votes to override, I, I feel like I'm giving somebody a false sense of hope that it gets passed, and then within 5 days the governor vetoes it, and I just
Mm-hmm.
the votes aren't there. We just haven't been able to get it done. We came close to having 29 for an override, but I've never been able to get to 30, 31 for an override.
Mm.
Mm. Um,
And I'm gonna tell you this: it's 100% politics. You sit down and you talk to individuals, they're like, "This is wrong. This is particularly Ernest's situation. This is wrong. This is wrong." And I'm like, "Are you gonna vote for it?" Yeah, I can't. I can't really do that.
Mm.
and what I mean, is it obvious why they say why, or is it obvious to y'all why when they say that?
It's just politics. They don't.
They don't want to be looked at as somebody that's soft on crime.
So
Correct.
right, they want to
Kind
be.
of going back to that fear of the one that you mentioned, Senator Wayne.
I was
Yep.
gonna say.
Yep. Yep. And that's the biggest problem with criminal justice reform. It's and we got some weird constitutional problem. We got a pardons board. If you think about a pardons board, you got a parole board, but the pardons board in particular, that's the governor, secretary of state, and the attorney general. So the main prosecutor is on the pardons board. So I mean, think he ever really gonna get pardoned is damn near impossible.
Mm-hmm.
And the parole board, well, I mean, they don't do anything.
Yeah, barely show up.
Man, um, Brother Knight in the chat says prisons create an economy for rural impoverished areas. Frame all undertakings from that perspective.
Mm.
Also,
So
Bob.
that's not really true. And so I'm gonna call false on that because one, they can't staff Tecumseh. But what it does do, it creates a burden. So one, you have a huge piece of land that's not property tax. Two, if there's any issues in there, and there are a lot of issues in Tecumseh, they got to get prosecuted at the county level, and that costs money. So from I think when they started Tecumseh, they thought it was going to be a huge economic boom, but that hasn't played out, and that's been
Mm.
primarily the staffing issues of why they were either looking at Omaha or Lincoln for the next prison because folks don't want to work in those kind of environments.
Man, that's definitely understandable. And, you just as much in there with the inmates, as the those incarcerated as a security guard.
That's
So I
interesting.
mean, in the Nebraska Examiner, I kind of joke trying to keep my spirits going into my last year, because to me those were two significant criminal justice bills that we were able to get some things done to reduce the not a huge reduction, but allow for at least some reduction in the prison
Mm-hmm.
population. And I said, well, I've been vetoed, I've overrode a veto, I've been found unconstitutional by AG's opinion on another bill. I've been filibustered. I've won some filibusters. Only thing left in the game is to be ruled unconstitutional by the Supreme Court. So if I'm gonna be there for 8 years, I might as well do it all.
Run the full gambit, huh?
That's the only thing I could think of, man. Because and the crazy part about the deferred judgment is he actually voted for the bill in 2019.
Yeah, that was the interesting part from the reports. Any any feelings on the about face?
Politics. I
You
gotta
know, we
just politics.
we keep saying politics. Exactly. What does that? What does that mean? That's people placating to a certain
Agenda.
agenda from a certain party, or doing a certain thing. Like Kimmer said, they would rather be looked at as hypocrites than soft on crime. Interesting. Uh,
I think that's one. I think so. There's two main reasons why nothing happens in criminal justice reform. I mean, I was on judiciary, and then I had to get off because I felt like I was beating my head in. And then Senator McKinney came up with the plan to put him in urban affairs chair and take me out. So I had to go over to judiciary because it's so hard to get anything done. Part of it is the fear of the one. Like you legitimately, I think there are some who legitimately are like, man, this guy could get out or this girl could get out and do something.
The Nico Jenkins.
But the rest of it, it's just they don't want to be soft on crime. And to me, it's about being smart on crime.
Yeah. Watching the 13th Ava DuVernay movie again the other day, and was just reminded about how much that's such a rhetoric for Republicans and Democrats alike. That soft on crime thing. They want to be tough on crime, and you know, and I'm in the middle of doing a documentary film for the MCC's reentry program, and just being reminded about like how much they dehumanize folks in the jail system, and they can make all these decisions on the outside without really looking at people like people, and how messed up of a thing that is, and they really actively try to not look at them as people. Like I'm seeing some active, no, you know, like I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. They're criminals,
Man.
you know, and it's messed up.
And I think it's important to also note it's just not a partisan thing to be scared to pass legislation that might alleviate a lot of our problems in the criminal justice system. There's Democrats and Republicans who don't fully support making any changes, or if they do, they straddle in a fence and don't really want to do it because they don't want to be perceived as a somebody that's soft on crime. So it's not just based in one political party. You know, Democrats, our president, you know, is partly a huge reason for mass incarceration. So, I mean, it's easy to say like all these conservative Republicans are just the ones that's in the way. It's Democrats in the way too. Like
there's no way that I can let them. I grew up all in California all through, you know, Clinton and the super predator stuff and the 3 strikes laws and everything that Biden. Yeah, no, it's definitely all parties.
Because there's been multiple bills since I've been in the legislature that haven't made it out of committee, not because of Republicans. It's because
So let me just say that. So what people have to understand is since I've been down there 7 years, going to my 8th year, the Judiciary Committee has been Democrats. This year is the first year that and ironically, the first year that I'm chair, that there is a 4-4 split. So, and that was on purpose. They were afraid that I would actually put out a lot of stuff to the floor. Wow. But for my previous 7 years, and before I became judiciary chair, it has at least been a 6-2 Democrat. At least 6-2. Yeah, all my years down there, it was 6-2.
What the? Jeez, man. I don't even know where to begin on that, man. And then you're out next year. We still looking for your succession plan. Brother McKinney, you are running again, right? We haven't heard no official announcement yet. I'm gonna put you on the spot because we need you.
Yeah, I'm running again. I ain't announced it yet. I had to take care of some stuff, so you know I announce it soon. I haven't taken the time, and yes, white people. It is a lot of them are white, and a lot of them are other races as well. So I mean, it's not just
for those who are watching that came out of the chats.
I did want to acknowledge that again. He not just throwing that out there.
He's like, hey, I'm running, and it's white people.
They haven't jacked no clips from our show yet for no sound bites yet. They might jack that one.
I mean, I'm not scared to say it. It's white people, but it's not just white people. I mean, a good majority of people in the legislature are white, but they ain't all white.
Yeah. There you go.
And every time I'm talking about black and white, I'm talking about culture anyway, because there's a lot of folks of color that are white as far as I'm concerned, and go and roll that way. So
not all skin folk are kin folk.
You got people that look like us that don't agree.
Exactly.
That tell
us. Wait, there's only 2 of us down there. You saying I don't agree with you?
No, I'm just talking about it in just general of not the legislature, but just society. Like it's black people that think we crazy.
Right.
Hmm.
It's real. That's real, man. That's real. They about keeping the culture the way that it is. They don't see it as broken, and it always is always. I'm always flabbergasted by that. People in the chat, let's go. Senator Terrell McKinney, vote Senator McKinney.
So
Uh, we
getting
got
some
to
love already.
say again.
Huh?
So getting some love already, getting some endorsement.
Yeah, man. We got to make it happen. And furthermore, we actually need more people in seats. I mean, as you can see, like more people in seats that are of like mind are going to be able to get the votes for some of this. I mean, sometimes it just comes down to that. Like you said, it comes down to the vote, and behind the scenes, people will be like, yeah, I'm all for it, and then in front it'll be politics, so they don't. You guys have been very gracious. You guys ain't really calling people out by name on that. But we got no sense to kind of look and see who's in the legislature and watch some sessions to see what's going on too.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
I,
unfortunate.
I will say this: I was completely undercut this year multiple times, but the first major blow came from the appropriation committee when they voted to keep the fund the prison.
Mm-hmm.
That has always been a way. So we were able to 2 years ago in the biennium. We peeled off 14, 13 million, 15 million, 13 million for criminal justice reform. And that was strictly because we were holding up the prison vote and we made it conditional that we needed some money to go here. And then we even said that you can't build a prison, you can only do the design of the prison. Basically, you have to give a report back what the design is, how it's going to work before we even fund it. Well, the legislature this year, appropriation said, we don't care about the report. We don't care about the design. Y'all didn't do anything that we said y'all had to do, but we still going to fund it.
Mm.
So immediately that took all pretty much everything we wanted to do off the table. And LB 50 was a last minute push because quite honestly, this was the first year that the county attorneys and the police officers broke away from each other. They actually were divided. And it was around these flat sentences when people jamming out because the police officers and state patrol and everybody else is saying, look, I'm the one dealing with people jamming out. When they jam out and they ain't got nowhere to go, it's the cops who are pulling people over and have to deal with that, or who are dealing with these investigations. And so the county attorneys, not necessarily Omaha and Lincoln and Sarpy, but some of the rural ones were like, no, we don't care. We like flat sentences. And so there was a huge difference between metro and rural. And we saw that wedge and we were able to figure out how to navigate it to get 50 done. But for the most part, I mean, once they voted to put that prison and get that budget, it was pretty much we was behind the curveball and negotiating from a powerless position, and that's both Republican and Democrats on appropriations.
Yep.
Now the attorney general.
Did you just say yep?
Like
There you go.
like I don't think a lot of people care about black issues, and I'm not saying prison reform or criminal justice reform is a black issue, but disproportionately we're the most affected.
Yeah.
I don't feel like many people care to put our issues on the top of the priority list. Like that's just the honest truth. Look at everything that happened since 2020. And look at every level of government. What has actually passed that is a response to what happened to George Floyd? Honestly speaking, what significant piece of legislation was passed outside of LB 531 and 1024? That
in Omaha, or Nebraska, I can't really think of any.
Or federally, they haven't passed that George Floyd bill. They ain't passed no criminal justice reform. Trump passed more criminal justice reform than Biden. Like
it's crazy because to Senator McKinney's point, this is me stepping in saying he running the campaign. He about to go off right now, and I can't let him. but for real though, like the chokehold, like we passed getting rid of chokeholds in 2021, I think, but that was already banned and barred in all the officers' procedures. So but like Senator McKinney had police oversight bill that he's introduced every year. And again, I want to say this, it was a 6-2 Democrat versus Republican on judiciary. And it never made it to the floor. Like, let it die on the, there's some issues you gotta let die on the floor, but you gotta have it, you gotta make people uncomfortable on the floor. And every bill that came out of judiciary, I will say, in my opinion, were negotiated ahead of time to make sure it passed. LB50 was all done on the floor, on the floor in the hallways. We were chasing people around trying to get votes, uh, and that's what we did.
And yet here it is under challenge. In your opinion, do you think the challenge will succeed? Are you kind of preparing for a bigger fight, or is just kind of
uh, there's case law on both sides,
mm-hmm.
so I'm not going to comment because I'm probably going to draft a brief, a friendly brief to the court myself as a state senator, which has never been done, but why not?
Okay.
So I don't want to give my arguments so he can go ahead and research them and
Yeah,
get
and
out ahead of me.
preparing,
Right.
spill all the beans. Okay,
In the
but
words of, in the words
I
of Senator
guess
McKinney, yep.
right, yeah. But I guess just in the process, learning, kind of going on our civic education. What does that entail? What does that mean as far as?
So right now there's a statute that says the attorney general can give an opinion to a state agency, and if the state agency acts in accordance or relies on it, they can file a lawsuit. So this is what's crazy about this case, LB50 case, is that lawsuit goes directly to the Supreme Court. But when you read the attorney general opinion, he says that this infringes upon the Board of Pardons,
Mm-hmm.
which is a different constitutionally a different agency. Well, he's on the Board of Pardons, and so is the Secretary of State. And the two parties named in the lawsuit are the Attorney General and the Secretary versus the Secretary of State. So to me, there's just a huge conflict all over the place with this whole thing. But so it goes to the Supreme Court directly. Me writing a brief is just telling the Supreme Court, here's my thoughts. They can read it; they don't have to,
Mm-hmm.
and then they'll decide, and it goes from there. And so retroactivity is always hard, but the number here's the crazy part, that if you listen to everybody in the room, everybody agrees that jamming out is bad. That's exactly what we're trying to prevent. What
Mm-hmm.
they're trying to say is that can only happen going forward. So for the next 10 to 15 years, we're going to keep letting people jam out. But you just said that that's bad. Yeah, it is bad, but we still going to challenge it constitutionally. It's weird.
Yeah, that sounds crazy. It's a heavier thing on me right now. Just like I said, just because I'm working on this documentary about a reentry program and just understanding what jam out means even more so, just because of hearing it from talking to actual people that have been incarcerated that are saying that. They were like, yeah, I got out the first time. I didn't have nowhere to go, nothing to do. I was just out. I just went, I didn't have nowhere to go or nothing. This program I'm working with now is at least giving me some skills and some blah blah blah. So, just interesting that I don't know why anybody would think that somebody who grew up in some poverty and ended up incarcerated, ended up in a certain world, and now it's just going to be thrown back out there. They're so afraid of the fear of the one thing, but they don't want to do nothing about trying to help people transition back.
There's
And
a clear case study on why you should not just let somebody out of solitary confinement onto the streets. And
it
they
just
know
sounds
that
crazy by itself.
they know it could happen again.
Yeah, it almost like they expected to, they wanted to. I mean, how else we gonna how else we gonna build new jails and fill them up?
Man,
Like they don't like people don't care because it don't affect them, and they don't live in this. They don't live in our communities, so it doesn't directly affect them. So they don't directly care. That's the honest truth, and that's everybody.
So let's do some boosting the roots means for me to try to make them care. So we're gonna
yeah,
try to do the best we can to do that. I appreciate you brothers coming on, man. It's 8:30 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, and I really appreciate you guys coming on, speaking on this. This is a subject we're gonna pick up and really try to push because on y'all's word. no, this ain't the sexy. This is not the sexy stuff, and nobody really wants to be a part of figuring out prison reform and so on and so forth. Just throw the criminals in jail, and throw away the key, is how the attitude is. So everything that we're working on right now, this big 4 documentary project, is all about trying to humanize people and let people see what it takes to be able to come out and be an effective person in the community. You want these people are coming out. You want them to jam out and come live next door to you, or do you want them to have a process and something to be able to come out and be cool? So it's tough, man. It's tough. And then also, of course, we still have the fight about, like Brother Ernest Jackson, for instance, still in.
Yeah, Point Jackson.
It's been proven that he is innocent, but they still are dragging their feet on stuff. That reminds me, by the way, there's going to be a celebration for him at it's his born day celebration, October 22nd at Malcolm X Foundation. So definitely check that out from 1 to 5. All are welcome. You're invited. Let's come and talk about that and use this, not just to celebrate his born day, but also to talk about what's going on, what's happening, why he's still in there, what's going on
Right.
with that, and rouse some folks up so that next time Brother McKinney goes in and tries to put something through, it'll have more support. And that's that's the solution that I can see right now happening. That's the solution that I can say we can help with at the very least, to try to get people to support some of this stuff that's happening. As you can see, they're in a fight. There's no reason to be fighting with our community when they got attorney generals that are trying to battle stuff like this. It doesn't make any sense to me why anybody doesn't think that we ought to be doing something for this situation that we have in our prisons. It doesn't make any sense why anybody, and we can go Democrat, we can talk about Democrat, Republican, we can talk about whatever, but anybody, I don't understand why they would fight making some changes in there. It doesn't make any sense to me. Like Brother McKinney said, it doesn't seem like anybody's really interested in especially black issues. Not that prison is just a black issue, but nobody's really caring. Nobody's really caring.
Yeah. Right. I mean, Mike told us they don't care about us.
And on that note, I know y'all care about us, so they already showed you some appreciation. They said that I think it was Miss Kimber Snipes says really thank you brothers for coming on, spending your time here, and we always feel like that too. Definitely thank you very much for coming on and taking your mornings to come and talk to us about some of these things. We're not here to have the fluffy conversations. We got to have the hard conversations. We got to get to boots to the roots, some action items in order to try to make some change. This is our version of trying to help make some change. And the first thing is just be able to have a discussion about it, talk about it. So we appreciate you guys doing that. Open yourselves up to that. Brother McKinney, whenever you start your campaign, let us know so we can really kind of help push. And brother Wayne, when you find your successor, let us know so we can do the same. And then hip us to some other stuff, man. So I talk to people all the time that talk about running. And I'd be like, yeah, man, let's get some more folks in there. Who's up next to go in here and battle? So we'll use we'll use the tools that we got to help, and that's all we can do. Pop says, yep, these brothers are the greatest, man. Appreciate you guys for coming on. Any final words before we let you go?
Just have a good week and let's make a difference.
Yeah, have a good week and try to be productive and smile.
Yeah,
I like
there
that.
you go.
I like that.
Yep.
Thanks, fellas. We'll see you guys next week. Have a good one.
Peace.
Peace.
There it is, ladies and gentlemen. Brothers Senators Justin Wayne and Terrell McKinney. We'll take a quick break. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio. First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
I'll be the dove, Buddi3 Da Gawd. All of
Hey.
you, chat chimers, ghost listeners, radio listeners. We'll be right back. Stay soon. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Paul B, Buddi3 Da Gawd, all of you Chat Chimers, Ghost listeners. Thank you, the Chat Chimers, for chiming in today. Very extensive chats, lots of good things to talk about. If you miss any parts of this show, please come back and check it out on Facebook or YouTube and check out the chat. Lots of good comments today. Really appreciate you guys joining in. I definitely want to talk about our partners over at OEAA's having a nominee reveal. The 18th annual OEAA Awards is happening in January. I think it'll be at the I want to say the Hilton, but the Holland Center. And so this is the reveal event that's happening here, nominee reveal. So everybody that voted is going to come and find out who are the nominees. This is always a good party, always a good time. It's going to be at the Benson Theater. Check it out, bensontheater.org. Get your tickets for the nominee reveal for the 18th annual OEAA Awards happening in January, I believe. So, or I think it's February, actually. I'll get the date for you. But come on and party with us, and let's talk about what's going on here with the nominees at the nominee reveal. As we talked about before, of course, there is a big event happening at Malcolm X Memorial Foundation, Ernest Jackson's Born Day celebration, October 22nd. Which is coming up. Mark your calendars for that. If you don't know where the Malcolm X Foundation Center is, what's wrong with you?
Man, what's wrong with you?
Support. 3448 Evans Street in Omaha from 1 to 5. Music, food, art, spoken word, community engagement. We can use this to come together on this subject. Also build some solidarity on trying to help him get out of jail. And also talk about the issues of the reason why he's in jail and why they haven't released him. All the things that we need to kind of spur the conversation here on this thing right here. So see if you can go ahead and mark your calendar and come through. Meet us over there October 22nd at MX Foundation.
Man, the grounds, as we like to call it.
Yeah, man, the grounds. You know what I'm saying? I kind of miss being over there. Miss being out of there. Yeah.
Okay, man. I'm always finding myself talking about, just the fact that Brother Malcolm is from Omaha, and just the work that he and shout out to Reverend Little and his wife, the work that they were doing as Garveyites in the community.
Big time.
Yeah, definitely. I think somebody had mentioned it on the show. We got to remember that legacy. Remember, that part, that piece of the community that is within all of us. So definitely shout out to the Malcolm X Memorial Foundation, trying to keep that going. Hopefully, they can push forward and push through, and this DED process works out for them, and getting the museum, because we've always talked about being there for several years. Like, man. Even being down here in Atlanta, I don't know if anybody has ever been down here or seen the Martin Luther King Jr. Campus. Really, that's what it is. It's like a whole 3-4 block span in Sweet Auburn that holds his house, the schoolhouse that he might have went to, the neighborhood store that he might have frequented as a child. The fire department that was like the family church. Like a lot of the family story is encapsulated and honored here in Atlanta, and it's a beautiful area. So it'd be nice to see that same kind of energy, investment, activity put towards Brother Malcolm and his legacy. So
yeah,
definitely big shout out to the Malcolm X.
Word on the street is Joanna LaFleur, who's now the ED over there, is went out and spoke to the family out of New York, and they were like, we need to make the birthplace just as important as the death place.
Yeah.
And so hopefully big things to come for them. I can't wait to see what progress will be made there in all the ways that we wish to see it. So. Yeah. Community, that's one thing I'm really proud about. The community did get together and push on that. When it came to the ARPA funds, they were like, look, Malcolm X and them need to get something over there.
Right. So definitely that's a beautiful thing. And then also, of course, shout out to the Jackson family and Brother Ernest Jackson. I do definitely feel like this should be more of a national story than it is. Like, if you remember, we spoke to the lawyers that were behind this and still helping with the family. And just to remind you, Brother Ernest Jackson is in jail for not a crime. Like, it wasn't a crime. Nobody. He's convicted of as being an accomplice in a shooting that was later deemed a self-defense. Like, there's no crime that was committed. He's serving time for nothing, literally. So just wanted to put that out there.
Yeah, man. Appreciate that. Mary Ann Williams in the chat says something I thought was very interesting. Let me see if I can find it. Uh, I'll have to look for it. But basically, she was talking about the situation. You know, we talk about the what we call the Nico Jenkins effect, which is
Hmm.
how no governor, no politician wants to say they let that happen on their watch, and this is what they use that a lot. They use that a lot. But her comment, I really can't find it right now. But her comment was basically like they don't care about leaving the conditions in the situation that would produce a Nico Jenkins. They just don't. You know, it's funny how they'll use that. They don't want to use his name in order to evoke any kind of change in the prison system and take some responsibility on some of the things that would make something like contribute to something happening to somebody being that way. They don't want to take responsibility for that, but they always want to try to use it in order to lock things down more. We're not going to let people out. We're not going to let Ernest Jackson out. What if he turns out to be that fear of the one thing that you're always talking about? What if he turns out to be this person that is going to come out and do a bunch of crime because we let him out? And so it makes it really difficult to even argue against that fear. People become very irrational when they're scared,
Hmm.
and they evoke this fear of the one,
Man, man.
and then they can't be reasoned with on stuff like this man is in here for not a crime. Well, like I said, more things to talk about when it comes to this. If you this would be a good time to really get together with the people that are organizing. You know what I'm saying? We our colleagues out there in Lincoln that are really pushing this
Hmm.
stuff right here, man. Medicine Song and them that are really on Boost to the Roots when it comes to trying to help his story be told and help him get out. She's also really encouraging everybody to show him some love, man. You know what I'm saying? Send him a little something if you can, keep his spirits up, and she'll have information on how to do that, how to contact him, send a letter, put some money on his books, whatever it is that you need to do to try to help him be cool for his stay. And then the bigger picture here is to have the bigger conversation about what can be happen. What can we do to get him out? All this can
Right.
be happening in person, face to face conversations on October 22nd at the Malcolm X Foundation from 1 to 5. Check it out and put this on your calendar and try to come through. It'd be good to have a born day, good to have a celebration for Brother Jackson over at the Malcolm X Center for sure.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
yeah, look at coming through there if you would.
Man, and I mean, I've had conversations with Brother Leo about his, vision or view of what the Malcolm X Memorial Foundation should be doing as far as the real work and not just maintaining the grounds, which is definitely an honor and it's a beautiful thing for the community to have such a space to call their own. But as far as the human rights violations, man, that's continuing the work that Brother Malcolm was doing before he passed and striving to bring human rights violations towards America. This prison situation, I say it all the time. It's definitely a human rights violation, especially cases like Brother Ernest Jackson. So there are things to do. It just takes organization.
Yeah. That's what I just found her comment. Marianne Williams says, "Yeah, but the prisms that reduce the chances of another Nico Jenkins are not interesting to them."
Yep. Yep.
Also, Von Chapman in the chat says, "I wouldn't be surprised if Nebraska, by eliminating CRT, would eventually eliminate all mention of Malcolm X and his relationship to Nebraska." Yeah, except for we did have a win recently with him being
Hmm.
inducted into the Nebraska Hall of Fame. And by the way, there's a brother. I was gonna pull this morning and didn't get a chance to, but there's a brother who just got given the privilege to create the bronze bust for that. That's homegirl from Idle Vital. Her family. Her family. So her family. I can't remember the brother's name. It's just it's leaving me right now.
He's
But
a relative of hers,
yes, the artist cat.
Marcus.
Yes, right.
Marcus Murray. It's my guy, man. Shout out to my
I
guy,
knew
Marcus.
you. I knew you
Yeah.
knew I was talking about. Yeah, so he got that commission to do the bronze bust for that of Malcolm for that. Uh, Hall-
Oh, you might be thinking of Nathan, the older brother.
oh, am I?
Yeah, yeah, man. The whole family. Like, shout out
Somebody
again.
told
Shout
me
out
that.
to the whole Murray family, man. I mean, their father, rest in peace, was a great artist. Ran the of course loves jazz for a while, but yeah, the brother Nathan, their older brother Nathan Murray, was an art student at UNL, and yeah, he
Okay.
he 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 does more bronze work That's why you said the bust. I was like, oh, you're talking about Nathan. Nathan does more like sculpting, bronze work. Marcus is more of a painter.
Got it. I just pulled it right now. So that's what's up. Uh, I I was really happy about that. You know, everybody's really proud about that. But I think that's a win. That's a big time win. Yeah, Nathan, you're right. That's a big time win for for the just Malcolm X in general.
Yeah.
We got some a situation here where we might be winning with this because not only did he get inducted, thanks to there was a bill that passed. That was Brother McKinney's bill, wasn't it? Or petition? This is Nathan right here.
Yeah. No, you're right. That was brother Senator Terrell McKinney.
Right. And so there was his push to get him in the Hall of Fame. That happened. That actually happened.
Mm-hmm.
That really put him on the map. Like that really put the Malcolm X Memorial Foundation on the map in a big way. That's leading towards them. They got a big grant. They're going towards the whole museum ship situation over there, and they're getting some more attention and some national attention. And now it's continuing on. Like Brother Nathan said, I'm excited to share the news that I was selected as the artist to make the Malcolm X bronze for the Nebraska Hall of Fame. So that's what's up. He got his vision is being fulfilled there, and it's continuing on, and it's a big deal. So when they're getting further and further away from being able to say to distance Malcolm from Omaha, like it's actually getting more known to people thanks to the efforts of like Joanne LaFleur, for instance, going and talking to the family out in New York.
Mm-hmm.
It's getting more known, even more known that he's associated with Omaha, and it's about to be really blown up. So they still might be doing something with CRT about teaching about his teachings, but for the most part, they're not going to be able to separate him from this area. They can keep on trying to demonize him like they've been trying to do for a long, long time, like they always do.
Mm-hmm.
But they're losing on that fact. The people who believe in a lot of the things that he was about are understanding more and more that he's from Omaha, more than it was when I first got in town, for sure. So hopefully that's not going to deter anything. Hopefully that'll help. Marlon Harrison in the chat says, I remember telling people that Malcolm X was born in Omaha and they were shocked. They always thought that he was born in Detroit. So I think Malcolm X Center needs more of a national focus, for sure.
Definitely.
And what we learned while we were over there, it has a very international focus already. People around the world know he's from Omaha and come all the time to come see the birth site. So it's nationally and locally that needs more attention on that as well. So we'll see. Thank you very much for everybody's chats, the chiming in on the chats here. We really appreciate that very much. Oh, Kimber Snipe says my pastor was talking yesterday about the maze for us to invest in HBCUs because of this very conversation of being able to learn our own history. I've been thinking about that ever since I've been thinking about HBCUs again, especially lately. What would it take to have one in Nebraska? Would it just be like the numbers wouldn't allow it? You know what I'm saying? In your opinion, buddy, since you went to one, what would it take for there to be an HBCU built in Nebraska? And for those who know, it's a historically black college, like Morehouse and
Morehouse, Spelman,
and of course
Hampton, FAMU.
Hey.
I don't know. I don't see, because it's historically black college university, just the history of them. I don't see it being built now. Like I don't see any new ones being built.
Good point. That's a good point. Are there any new ones being built anywhere?
I don't think so. It's just the history. Most HBCUs were created like mid to late 1800s.
That's why they're historically black colleges.
Right. It was directly made out of a timeline where we weren't allowed to go. That's why they're called PWIs, predominantly white institutions. That's how those are your state institutions. Ohio State, Michigan State, University of Michigan, Nebraska. These are all called PWIs because historically, African Americans and people of color weren't allowed to go there, which is why the HBCUs are created. So that history isn't quite the same, especially if you play sports. And they'll welcome you quickly. So Yeah, I don't see that happening in Nebraska. And to your point, also just the numbers, the history. Most HBCUs were also created in slave states.
Right.
Even though Nebraska was close, wasn't officially a slave state. And to Sister Kimber's point, Missouri was, and Missouri does have, I think, the closest HBCU to Omaha, Lincoln University, and actually have a lot of friends who and family who are from Omaha that either work or have went to Lincoln University.
Hmm. And that's in Jefferson City, Missouri.
Yeah, I think that's the one she's talking about. And A&M is, I think, I don't know. My A&M was agriculture and mechanical, not manufacturing, but mechanical, and that's because those were really the only two jobs that we were given.
Told we can have.
Right.
Interesting stuff. Yeah, you just got my mind turned on that. I wonder if one day there'll be a Malcolm X
Hmm.
uh,
Now, other
university.
cultural centers and universities, I could definitely see that popping up over the years, especially with the current conversations around education, which we do have a story to get into on that. But yeah, the current conversations on education, where those are going, especially as someone mentioned CRT and things like that, I could definitely see like a Malcolm X, school popping up.
Or Afro American school or something like
Yeah,
that.
right.
Good segue. Let's talk about the situation over there with OPS.
Yeah. Definitely a great segue as the community is trying to figure out what's going on. What's going on with the OPS superintendent search? It seems like at the center of controversy and conversation is the ability to have public input. Or will the public be included in this search? And of course, there are some within the board that have voiced concerns about not enough opportunities for community input, which may be why there's a recent announcement that there will be a weeks long input series for opportunities for the community to again voice their concerns, ask any questions, and just give any ideas that they might have on the superintendent search. On Thursday, Spencer Head, who's the current president of the OPS board, announced the launch of a dozen community forums to collect feedback about the district and its next superintendent. The board, of course, is seeking a new leader following the resignation of Dr. Cheryl Logan. Matt Ray, who is currently the interim superintendent, will hold the position until a new candidate is hired, which is expected to happen around February of next year. So we are just months away from that projected date. Who's his head again, who's a board president, says we love to have everybody from the community, whether you're a parent or a student, staff, or just a general taxpayer who's interested in the trajectory of the district. We'd love to have you attend to get your feedback on who do you like to lead the school district. Forums will be conducted in all 9 sub districts of OPS, plus the Teacher Administration Center, aka the TAC building. The forums begin Thursday and will end next Wednesday. They will also be 2 virtual forums, which can be accessed on the district's website. Each meeting will have bilingual liaisons, which is a huge thing. As Kim reminds us, there's over 100 languages spoken in the community. But let's see. So tomorrow, there are no meetings today, but tomorrow between it looks 8 a.m. and 8:15 p.m. So really all day tomorrow. There will be meetings. TAC building is from 8 to 9. McMillan from 6 to 7 p.m. Buena Vista High School, which I believe is the new high school recently built, that's from 6 to 7 as well. In Norris Middle Cafeteria, there will be a meeting there. That's from 7:15 to 8:15 p.m. Also, Westview High in Bennington and Northwest High will also be hosting meetings. So we can post this schedule in the chat as well if anyone is interested.
Yeah, I would love to have some people go check that out. Good time to have documenters. What's the documenters program's work was on right now? Because we
Man, taking a break.
definitely send them over to these things. Let us know how you feel about these situations here. We'll put the schedule in the chat in case you guys want to get down on checking some of those out. And of course, you do take notes so we can talk about it when you come through and let us know. So we'll put that in the chat there. That's the schedule. And again, let us know if there's something that you can do about making some of these meetings. And what would you say when you got to the meetings? Is the other thing too. What are the questions?
Mm-hmm.
What are some good questions? Throw some questions and things out there for the people that are going to go. Maybe we can even represent. They can represent what our questions are if they show, and we can give them some good things to discuss and talk about and figure out. And well, where would we go with this? I think it's really interesting that they're opening this up to the public now after there's been people that have actually stepped down from positions inside of OPS board because of not agreeing, because of the disagreement about the public about public input. So,
Mm-hmm.
but they're becoming pretty desperate, and there's a lot of things talking. There's a lot of people talking about this, and there's still no superintendent. There's a big search happening. I mean, there's a lot going on, and time is flying by. So here
Yeah,
we are.
I mean,
I wouldn't even think we'd be talking about all these different dates for the public to speak on when we first started talking about this 6-7 months ago.
it's important, and I'm glad they're inviting even just the general taxpayer to come. Being somebody who has gone through OPS, even if I don't have any children in OPS, if I'm not a teacher, or anything, I just understand the impact that has on the community. What kind of education, what kind of things, or what kind of just personal development skills are these children getting in these schools? Because that's where they're spending most of the time. Most of the children's time, 6, 7, 8 hours a day spent in these schools. So what are they learning? And that's going to impact how they act when they leave the schools. What types of resources are families being given? Like, with the right leadership, with the right superintendent, OPS can definitely be a resource to address all the things we're talking about, whether it's housing, education, the preschool to prison pipeline, like a lot of the things that we talk about, mental health, here on this show can be impacted significantly with the right superintendent and good leadership.
So true, so true. Kimmer Snipes is also reminding us the mayor's town halls are coming up too.
Yeah,
Drop the
yeah.
mayor's town hall schedule here, starting from October 12th, which is the next one coming up. So if you want to go there too, go ahead and check that out. We definitely would like to have people represented there and hear what the mayor has to say. And most importantly, hopefully the mayor will be listening to what other people have to say, even more
Man,
so than giving us more, you know,
dictating.
yeah, dictating all the good stuff that she's doing for the police department and so on and so forth. So yeah, so we'll move on from that. It is I'm sorry, 8:57 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, anything that we want to tease for next show for Wednesday?
Actually, no stories to tease, but I do have a couple articles, couple things that we can wrap up into the haps, if you
Yeah,
will.
let's do that. Well,
Again, yeah, it's not quite Friday, but we got a couple haps to let you know about going on in the community to look out for. Big shout out. Okay, go ahead, go
so
ahead.
you gonna let me? You gonna stop talking so I can play the song? What? You gonna put a verse on it? What you gonna do? Oh, we should do that. We should like do the haps with a in rap form.
Hey, what's happening? What's happening? Anyway, yes, letting people know what's going on in the community, what's happening, and this is definitely one that you want to listen out for and possibly participate in. As again, our partners over at Heart Ministry Center, helping those in the community purchase land. We're always talking about again home ownership, housing, land ownership. Owning our community and reinvesting into it, and this is definitely a way to do that. And talk about the land bank, which is also something we talk about a lot here on the show. Looks like Heart Ministry Center will be holding forums and classes and meetings to teach people in the community how to purchase land through the land bank. So again, big shout out to Heart Ministry Center doing the good work as always. As you see on your screen, here's the flyer. It goes down tomorrow at 6 p.m. Again, right there on the Deuce, right across from the Culture House at Heart Ministry Center. Again, shout out to Amy H No Dot, my man Rom over there, just the whole staff over there doing good work. Again, if you need services, check them out, man. We took a tour while I was there over the summer. Laundromat, clinic, um,
And this,
pantry. I think the largest pantry in the state.
I was amazed. I didn't realize all that was going on over there until we took.
Man, dental services. I mean, again, it's all free to the community. Big shout out to them doing some good work. They even have more of the. I think they have some of the doctors from Creighton and uh, Charles Drew there. Like they it's some good services. So definitely check out our ministry center. And then on top of that, they do things like that, helping you buy land from the land bank. So again, that's going down tomorrow at 6 p.m. So we definitely have to get into that so the people don't miss it. And then of course today is Indigenous Peoples Day. A couple people have reminded us and given us a happy Indigenous Peoples Day in the chat. So definitely big shout out to y'all. As Paul mentioned, this is a day of protest and remembrance. Of course, this used to be formerly known as Columbus Day. But as we look more into the true history of Columbus and even read by his own accounts, some of the things that he did in reality, I think it is definitely more appropriate to recognize this as, again, Indigenous Peoples Day. Big shout out to that. And I guess while we're talking about Indigenous Peoples Day, I do want to recognize the brothers and sisters in the uprising that's going on in the Middle East. Again, there's some occupation going on in the Middle East, and people are uprising against that occupation. So yeah. Peace to the Middle East. I'll say
Peace
that.
in the Middle
Say
East,
that.
man. Appreciate everybody that's joining us right now. It is 9:01 past the agreement time. We appreciate you guys hanging in there with us. There's a couple more things I do want to mention before we get out of here, if you guys don't mind. Of course, we're still looking for Brother Blake. He's still missing. He's been missing
Yes.
since August the 17th. And if you keep your eye out, please, if you've seen him and you've heard anything about him or from him, then hit us up at 470-216-5793 or 531-203-3810. There was a link to a GoFundMe. I think that is over now. So if you
Yep.
know the family,
Yep.
then reach out to the family and see how else you can help in order for them to, excuse me, keep on with this search. And we will definitely have some more information about this search here coming up pretty soon. Also, that reminds me to also, again, publicly apologize to Brother Kasim and Brother Sherman Wells. I forgot to lock it down with him to come on this morning. And Brother Kasim was responded, but we weren't able to get with Brother Wells, and so he wanted to wait until they can come on together in solidarity. But
Mhm.
do not forget that they do have the BAA just launched their Willie Lynch book, the Willie Lynch
Man.
letter. As you can see, Brother Kasim has been out this weekend getting it into the hands of the people out here. So we really appreciate all the work that these guys are doing. I can't wait to get my hands on this book and check it out and get some more details about this whole Willie Lynch letter, which is amazing. You want to hear some way out stuff. You got to check this out, man. Some of the things that this brother, lynching comes from this man's name, and that'll tell you
Man.
something right there about what Willie Lynch thought you should be doing and treating slaves a certain way. The making of a slave is actually the letters that he wrote about what they're supposed to be doing and how people got treated. And you can feel how the things have trickled down to today. So shout out to Brother Kasim. I can't wait for him to come on and talk about this.
Yeah, and don't forget they have the event coming up addressing the young youth out in the community that might be on the fringe of making some poor decisions, might at the kind of crossroads of making some turns in their life. Again, trying to address them and tell them the real. So
Yeah.
again, big shout out to Brother Sherman Wells, Brother Kasim, and also Tucker, who's a part of that
We'll
as
get you
well.
some more information on that. They got new flyers, new dates on that. And so as soon as we get that, we'll go ahead and put that out and put it on Friends for Sky
Yep, man.
Omaha as well. Shout out to our partners over at OEAAs. Don't forget to hit the nominee reveal party over the Benson Theater. 18th annual OEAAs is happening in the beginning of 2024, and the nominees have been picked. So the reveal party is happening on the 18th. It's a good time, and it's a good time for us to support the nominees as well. So please go to bensontheater.org, get your tickets to the nominee reveal party. 18th annual OEAAs is happening. It's really become an institution in our city. So shout out.
Man.
Also, shout out to everybody who is putting this together as well. You're invited to Ernest Jackson's Born Day celebration. We talked about it in the show earlier. October 22nd at the Malcolm X Memorial Foundation. There'll be music, food, art, spoken word, community engagement. It's a good time to talk about what to do to put boots on the roofs to help get Ernest Jackson out and support all efforts for that. And also just to have the conversations face to face about what is keeping him in and figure out language to appeal to people that could help him get out, and that's what this is all about. So, and also to celebrate his born day. This is for them to just give him some love as well. So please put that on your calendar. October 22nd will be at Malcolm X Memorial Foundation, and go check it out. This is Ernest Jackson's Born Day celebration. So shout out to the
Yeah, man.
organizers of that for sure. We didn't get to talk about it too much, but there is a fall festival coming up, and seems to be something that was not on the radar before, and now it
Mm.
is. And from some of the people that I'm seeing is involved, then it feels really legit. Every time I see Island Chill on something, I'm like, okay, it's going down. So this is the Fall Festival 2023, A Time for Love. The person that posted this in Friends of First Sky Omaha made it a point to say, with all the things that are going on in our neighborhoods right now, and the unfortunate situations with the young folks passing away, the shootings that's been happening, the family beefs, the things that are going on, we need a time for love. And so let's go ahead and
Mhm.
throw this together. This is Fall Festival 2023 at AOS 4224 North 24th Street, North 24th in Solar Streets, I guess. Okay. So that's the corner there.
Sailor.
Sailor. And
Yep, it's like a block north. No, it's a block south of Ames.
oh, okay. Okay. So
Yeah, right by 24th and
got it,
Ames.
got it. Okay, so come on through, all free. There's going to be food, baby supplies, the bounce house, boys and girls haircuts, hairstyles, nail bar, DJ. People are definitely putting their best foot forward as far as donating their time and resources to be able to just have a fun fall festival, a time for love. They're saying
Man,
for our neighborhood. So
we need
shout
it.
out to all the
Something for
organizers.
the
Have
babies.
something for the babies, man. The babies don't need to know all this news. They just need to have some fun while they're babies. So yeah,
Right, right.
bring the family. Appreciate everybody who put this on as well. Uh, let's go ahead and call it the Haps. That's it for the Haps today. Oh, one more. I'm sorry about that. There's another missing alert going on right here for Arion Devers. He's age 15. Last seen wearing a black zip up hoodie with some blue Adidas pants and black Crocs on the afternoon 10 of 10/3/23. So this is just 6 days ago. He was saw last at
Yeah.
Northwest High School. A missing persons report has been filed with OPD, and if you have any information, call 402-707-1195 as soon as possible. So we'll go ahead, and that's already been pretty much all over Friends of First Sky Omaha. So if you need to find out the information, just go to Friends of First Sky and check it out there. But unfortunately, we need to keep our eye out for this young brother as well. So yeah.
Definitely, definitely. Well, also before we get out of here, I do want to mention because it's going down tomorrow, and I'm surprised, Sister Kimra, man. I'm surprised you ain't said nothing about it. Again, One Omaha will be having their speaker series, featuring. Come on, she was all on it last week, and say nothing today. But again, it is going down tomorrow, right at the Benson Theater. Shout out to the whole staff and fam over at the Benson Theater. Again, from the ground up speaker series, presented by One Omaha. We'll have against Shamika Simpson and a few others on the panel as well. So definitely come through. And also, will that be around the same time, or are you still having the meeting at the front room?
Yeah, the front room happy
Nixon.
hours are 3 to 7. So this speaker series is going to start at 6. So it'll be kind of in the middle of that. And
Okay.
but yeah, we'll all be there, having a little get together first, and then can slide on in and hear the speaker series. It's going to be a good time tomorrow. So definitely check it out. Free to the public. Come and support. One Omaha is getting down with Benson Theater. And that's what it's all about. That collaboration.
Yeah, man. Teamwork making the dream work. That's last season, but we still believe it. Still, live by it. Still making it happen. So, yeah, big shout out to Camera, you, the whole Benson Theater staff, One Omaha. Yeah, coming together doing good work. So, it's going down tomorrow. But in the meantime, between time, I think it's time for us to get up
I
out of here.
think so too, buddy. You got some words for the people?
Yeah, man. Big shout out to the Senator Justin Wayne and Terrell McKinney for taking some time out of their busy schedules to speak with us and let us know. Just give us some insight on some of the things going on in the community. We appreciate them and definitely looking forward to supporting Senator McKinney as he goes for re-election. Definitely let's put some boots to those roots and get ready for that as campaign season is quickly approaching. I did some math, man, and we're about halfway through this season already. It's only about 9 weeks left in this season. So we appreciate y'all support. We're definitely looking forward to new changes and things as always coming forward. So again, we thank you. We love you. We appreciate you. And until next time, Paul
Yo,
B.
yo.
Take it
That's
away.
what's up. Miss Erica Fellows reminding us Mr. K's Trunk or Treat is also happening on the 14th, which is a few days from now. Yeah, Saturday from noon to 3 at KPOW, KPOA. So maybe I guess you guys are going to be on TV probably too.
Okay.
4725 F Street in Omaha. Check it out. There's a petting zoo by Scattered Joy Acres. Interesting. But definitely check that out. Join us and come dressed in your best costume, Mr. K's Trunk or Treat. On the 14th of October there, of noon to 3, K-Pow, 4725 F Street. If you haven't been over there, check it out just to check that place out. We do have a resource in town. It is our TV channel,
public
access channel that is every city usually has, and I'm glad to see Mr. K doing some things over there on it. So definitely check that out and support that place as well. K-Pow gets down. But thank you for reminding me about that, Miss Erica Felt, and we're going to go ahead and get out of here. Miss Erica Felt says, great show. Many families don't work to honor Indigenous Peoples Day. Please take time to follow Indigenous content creators today and get to know issues. Drink water and be good to yourself. Appreciate that very much.
Man, beautiful.
Also, Pop says, thanks for another great show. What a phenomenal way to start the week off. I love it. Much love to all, and see you again on Wednesday. Thanks, Pops. Appreciate you very much. We will see you again on Wednesday as well. A special shout out to the Omaha tribe elders for allowing us to be on this land and speak while we're here. Again, thanks to shout out to Indigenous Peoples Day today. We're thinking of you. Shout out to our elders for allowing us to speak with you as well. And you, the chat chimers. Thank you so much for all of your comments and everything that you put in the chat today. If you missed any parts of this show, go back and check it out live. It'll be on Facebook or YouTube, and you can go back and watch the whole show in its entirety and check out the chat when you do. Lots of good information in the chat. And of course, if you missed any parts of the interview with the senators, you can go back and watch it there as well. Again, thank you for all of your support. Everybody who is a member of the channel as well, the $10 people, the $25 people, the $50 people can't do these things without you. So if you have not become a reoccurring member of this channel, please consider it and subscribe. Go to firstsky.omaha.com, hit the donate button, and there'll be instructions there for you to be able to do that. Thank you for everybody that puts this together. So again, thank you very much. We'll see you on Wednesday. You guys have a great day. Take care of yourselves. Like Miss Erica Felt says, drink your water, and we'll see you Wednesday. Peace.
Peace.
By the way, Vanglorious, this is protected by the red